Gorilla Gang, good morning. I am filming this very quickly at 10:30 in the morning. We are currently sitting at just over $52 a share for AMC. We're up about a percentage point. A few things I want to touch on. I was up all night and this morning just going over the interview with Aaron Adams a few times and trying to find the tweet from Jordan Belfort. And let's start with that, because if the Wolf of Wall Street, Jordan Belfort, is telling us that nice job on the squeeze, boys, we know the squeeze isn't over. Guy's the biggest liar in the market, right? So clearly there hasn't even been a squeeze. Like the Boats and Hose says here, baby scammer squeeze. What squeeze? There hasn't been a squeeze. And exactly, to my point, there has not been a squeeze yet. I think Boats and Hose is dead on the money with that. This was just a baby gamma. That's all we've seen in the last 2 weeks is a baby gamma squeeze. Second point I want to make. Yesterday's thumbnail, I put FUD across the front because at the time, CNBC was reporting, now this was early in the morning, that the 11.5 million shares were going to be given out over time, from time to time, is how they explained it in the video. So, as we found out last night, clearly, AA told us that those are shares that were immediately dumped and sold by lunchtime yesterday. So, CNBC was wrong on the report. We got clarification on that. I just want full transparency when it comes to the Apes, to my subscribers, to anyone viewing my channel. I want nothing but transparency and the truth. I don't want to try and cover everything up. So if that fooled anybody yesterday, it was not intended to, and I apologize. And if you stay to the end, I have a little clip from the Officer Tatum show from last night, his Why I'm Not a Republican Anymore show. And we get an ape shout out to the moon, which is hilarious, and that will be at the end of this episode. Moving forward, let's get into AA's interview last night with Trey Trades and try to break down something I find very important and a couple points that he made that I agree with and one I disagree with. So without further ado,
cue the speeder.
And you just said that on camera. This going viral.
I just want to thank all my new subscribers. Thank you so much for helping me pass 100. If you haven't subscribed, hopefully I can earn it today. Now, I've watched this interview twice, and there was really only one thing out of the whole interview that I can pick out that was maybe a little on the shady side. I still don't quite understand exactly what he's trying to say. I think I got the point after watching it the second time, but honestly, only real bad news, and it's not even bad news. I just think it was something that we could have totally never expected, and I'll tell you why at the end. But anyways, let's roll the clip and see the one part that I think might have been a little deceitful.
I like the piece of that you said there wasn't any hard proof stating that they actually made that statement. So I think that's a good thing to get out there, that there wasn't any hard documentation. But the next question that I've got for you is regarding the 11.5 million shares that were sold today. Now, this is just raised some concerns for a lot of the investors. Now, there was the first interview here, we talked about how AMC had, 46-ish thousand shares total remaining after they'd issued those 43 million shares, offering into the market and raised a great sum of cash. So there's a sentiment right now passing along with the retail investor group, the Apes, that they feel a little bit betrayed. They feel like the management was hiding something that was behind closed doors and we just didn't get to see it. Now, there's probably some sort of explanation for this, and I'd love to hear what you have to say, but where did these shares come from for this 11.5 million shares that you sold into the market from Mudrick Capital for those 8.5 million shares? And are there any shares remaining that we should expect for the future so we can make better investment decisions for ourselves?
Sure thing. And Trey, that's one of the reasons I came on with you today, is to make sure that we get the straight scoop out in front of all of the people who are shareholders of our company. Back when we said that we had 43 million shares available for sale, you will also recall that was before the May 4 shareholder meeting that was postponed. One of the items that was up for shareholder vote at the May 4 meeting was to put 20 million AMC shares into what's called the Management Equity Incentive Plan. Those shares would be essentially given to the management of the company. Given, I might add, for free to the management of the company.
Right.
The management team of the company cares so much about the company that we decided that rather than us taking those 20 million shares and those 20 million shares working for the benefit of officers of AMC, that we ought to use those shares a different way. We ought to use those shares to strengthen the company, the company that all of your followers are invested in. And so if you look at a press release that we put out just about an hour ago with the new proxy for the new July 29 shareholder meeting, you will see that there are 0 shares being allocated to the management of the company. Those 20 million shares that were going to go into my pocket and the pockets of other managers and executives of the company, we decided instead that they should be used for the company's benefit, not for our personal benefit. So though, if you look at the proxy that went out a few minutes ago, we are not making any request of the shareholders to put any shares in the management equity incentive plan. That essentially, those 20 million shares that were going to go to us personally for our own money.
Okay, so let me get this part out of the way, because I really think this was the only negative thing in the entire interview. Other than this one point, I think the rest of the interview was very enlightening, and I think it was mostly positive news for the diamond-handed apes out here. Me and everyone else, you know who you are, the ones that are waiting for this short squeeze. So right here at this 5-minute mark, he says that before they announced the 43 million shares they still had left over from 2012, before the May 4th shareholders meeting that was put off now till July, one of the things they were going to vote at that meeting was to put 20 million shares into manager equity incentive plan, into a manager equity incentive plan. Now, he said these shares would have been given to management for free. He said twice. He reiterated that statement later on. They would have been given to management for free, but instead they decided to use it to the company's benefit and then use that to raise $800 million. So I can't be 100% sure, but the way he worded it, it sounds like that was something we were going to vote on that we never got a chance to vote on. So they went ahead without the vote and released the 20 million shares that, yes, maybe they would have kept for themselves, but we might have voted, no, you can't have any of the shares at all, right? If it came down to a vote, we could have said, nope, no 20 million shares at all, and I don't care what you're doing with it. You have enough capital raised, you're good. Even though I don't think they do, but still, that was something that he's saying. I mean, tell me in the comments if I'm wrong, but I believe he is saying this was something we were going to have voted on, then we postponed the meeting, and then they just decided, well, instead of letting them vote on them being for us, for the management incentive program, we're just going to put them on the market and raise the capital for the company. So I'm glad they didn't keep it for themselves, because everybody on that board is rich. We're the ones that need the money, not them. So I'm glad they didn't do that. But should they have probably have waited till it's July 29th meeting to do that? Maybe they felt like they had to take advantage of the opportunity now because the share was up so high and they did raise a lot more capital. And really, it was just a blip on the radar screen. I mean, comparatively speaking, that's not a ton of shares, right? There's over 501 million out there. So that was the only part that I had an argument with. Other than that, everything in the interview went pretty well, and I think everything that was said was pretty on point as far as them raising up all this cash to help with the $5 billion that they have in debt. You know, they've raised $2 billion back, and they're gonna. He said that they possibly could use this money to go forward and do things offensively, which is great. He talked about the share count, and that 501 is supposed to include the entire world, right? He said North America, that they were in North America alone, that they were somewhere under 500, and there were 27 million shares outside of the US and Canada. So he got that out there, so we know that now. He said the 25 million shares they're going to ask for, I guess, in July would be in case COVID comes back, which I don't believe it's coming back, so I wouldn't worry about that. But that they could buy some debt at a discount. They owe $400 million in rent from 2020, and they could use that to pay down some rent. And then merger and acquisitions. He mentioned ArcLight, and he also talked about Pacific Theaters, about buying some new theaters. So, you know, I mean, the guy, this is the 5th company he's run. AA's run 5 companies. He ran Vail Resorts, NCL, which is Norwegian Cruise Lines, United Airlines, Hyatt, and now AMC. And he finished up the interview pretty much saying, my word is bond. And even though I don't agree with what he did with the shares, because he really did kill 2 climbs. I mean, we should be well over 100 by now and headed towards the short squeeze. But, you know, we're just going to have to, I mean, we're going to have to deal with it for now. And my takeaway from the meeting overall was good. That was the only point I had a problem with, was that we didn't get a chance to vote on these 20 million shares that they released in the last 2 weeks. And yes, it raised a lot of capital and is going to help them pay down debt. But overall, I don't know. I find it a little shady. I'm not trying to create any FUD. That's just my personal opinion. Everyone's entitled to theirs. Overall, I think the meeting went well. I think what he said was pretty much dead on. And I haven't sold 1 share. I'm not selling 1 share. Everyone's telling me to sell. Right now, we're down from yesterday, so there's no way I'm selling. I'm just going to hold on, and I hope the rest of you apes do too. The last thing I want to mention is on the Officer Tatum show, which is one of the shows I watch on YouTube, there was an ape on there. I'm going to play the clip for you, and then we'll peace out.
Put it all the way down. Don't halfway put it down. You put it all the way down. Little something to support the channel. Jim, thank you so much for the super chat. Daniel, thanks so much for the super chat. Are you, let's see, are you AMC Apes in here? AMC the moon. I don't even know what that is. I'm slow. Let's see. Kinley, thanks so much for the super chat. Yes, it's.
So, for those of you who don't know, that gentleman is the Officer Tatum. He has a YouTube channel. I would say it's kind of like conservative channel. But he used to be a police officer in Arizona. Now he's a YouTuber full time. And this video, I believe, was called, what was it called? I don't want to be a Republican anymore. Why I don't want to be a Republican anymore? And clearly it was an ape in the super chats that was hollering to the rest of the apes. I just thought that was hilarious. When I found it, I was like, I got to clip this out and play it for all my subscribers and anyone watching the channel. So that's all I got, guys. I thought that was funny and wanted to share it with you. Hold on. Diamond hands. We are getting rid of some of the paper-handed apes. I think that we're flushing them out. The true apes, you know who you are. We're still in this thing. And we're the ones that are going to see this to the moon. As the gentleman tried to state in the super chat. All right, guys. That's all I got for now. I'm the Massalorian, and I'm out.